Tammy Bruce and Deroy Murdock. Tammy, what are your thoughts on this?
Look, this is fascinating. It's almost like an intervention. There's Europe and Merkel. They're talking about an army. They have no money. They have nothing. We've been supporting everything. We support NATO, as you've just discussed.
Well, Germany has money. That's what makes it bad.
Well, but they have money. But keep in mind also now the expenditures they're having to deal with the migrants. But a lot of these nations, with the money they do have, they're able to have it because we're supporting everything else, including their self-defense. So this is like an intervention. This is Donald Trump saying, you can't do what you've been doing without there being some repercussions. We as people who love you, are not going to support your destruction of Europe as we know it. And this is, Germany clearly, historically, has proven that they make very bad decisions when it comes to their leadership and the direction of their country. Once again, what we hope to do this time is to be able to intervene with Germany without it turning into something ugly like it did in the 20th century.
Deroy, first of all, I got to commend you on that serious seersucker suit.
No,
Thank you.
It's season.
It's the season.
You may be 30 days too early on the calendar and 60 according to New York weather, but that's a different topic.
Right on the calendar, wrong on the thermometer.
Should we intermingle the notion of deficits, U.S. deficits, with security of the West? Should those two things be connected?
I don't think so. Look, this idea that Donald Trump has advanced that Germany should pay 2% of its GDP as its
well, this is what everybody agreed on.
They agreed on this in 2014. This is not some wacky idea that Trump cooked up. The defense ministers of the NATO countries in 2014, under Obama, before Trump was even running for president, agreed they'd put up 2%. Germany's now at 1.2%, so they're lagging there. And just last September, Merkel said while she was campaigning in her country, obligations have to be fulfilled, and others in the world will demand that of us. And I think they're right that Germany must uphold its obligations. So she herself said that last September. Now she seems to be backing off and saying that if we insist on this, it's the end of the Western alliance. Which I think
well, we've been insisting on this, at least behind the scenes, for a long time, Tammy. Yeah. Do you think this time they'll be serious, that they'll step up to the plate, or do you think they'll just sort of bide their time? And what would the resistance be? I mean, Germany does have a $65 billion trade deficit with us. And listen, you could argue whether or not they should be buying Chevys in Berlin rather than BMWs, but you can't deny the fact that it's a pretty juicy trade relation.
Yeah, it is, but I think the difference here is that it's Donald Trump, and this is an individual who there's a benefit to being seen as sort of a rogue agent, that you are going to do what you need to do. You haven't had that worry with really any of the previous past presidents. You know, maybe some presidents say things publicly because you've got to and you go through the motions. Donald Trump is serious. Western leaders know this. This is why with the G7 event, they were acting like children and snickering and doing the hard handshake like it's high school. Well, it's not. There is a serious man in the White House, and he means business. And with Merkel's comment also that it's the end of the alliance, that we can't rely on our allies, why would we support and enable what that woman is doing to Western civilization and to Europe? The Germans don't like it. The French don't like it. You're looking at, and you know, you speak of Poland. Poland is one of the 4 nations that actually is paying its fair share. They understand it because, of course, their recent dealings with totalitarianism and Russia. So this is, for her, again, I just go back to it's like an intervention. If she thinks that she's being abandoned, she's not. We're trying to take control of a situation that's out of control.
Well, you know, it's so funny. I mean, listen, it's low-hanging fruit, but when you're saying that, you know, they're acting like high school kids. If you marry a high school teacher, you maybe maybe get stuck in that arrested development stage.
Great point.
But having said that, though, Deroy, this is a critical time in the world, and a lot of things are happening, and we see sort of NATO begrudgingly saying, yeah, we accept the fact that we need to fight ISIS. I still personally believe it's all lip service. I don't believe or trust that anything that they said over during that meeting they're going to follow through on.
Well, look, what's very discouraging is Germany, where they've let in so many of these refugees from Syria, from North Africa, and so on. A lot of these are people just escaping a horrid situation. Some of these people have taken advantage and have been engaging in rape and all sorts of other things, and perhaps moving on to terror. The earlier news we heard about 23,000 jihadists in the UK. I hope at the very least we get a list of all of their names, all their passport numbers, and have everybody at every U.S. border crossing ready to catch any of those guys and send them right back.
Former subjects of interest, subjects of interest, both the Manchester bomber and the Westminster murderer, both were on the list before. And now, of course, Tammy, they're finally telling people, hey, if you're going to fight with ISIS, check in with us on your way back. The idea that you can come back to me is nuts. In the first
we were
place.
joking. Maybe we should put them under a curfew when they do get back.
Yeah. Ankle bracelets.
Look, this is also, Germany has just captured a teenager who is planning a major terrorist plot, apparently, for Berlin. So Germany knows that this is an issue, and they are all on the radar. But the fact that they're only implementing this now, but I can tell Americans that there is, and all of our viewers, that there's hope. General Mattis, well, now Secretary of Defense Mattis, said that one of the reasons we're going to annihilate ISIS is to make sure that these are individuals who will not be returning home.
Right.
So that's now part of, I guess, of our travel ban. We're gonna get you on the field of battle.
And of course, General Mattis had the quote of the year over the weekend. We'll tell you about it when we come back. In the meantime, we'll also discuss President Trump returning home from his first international trip. We're going to talk about the breadth, because just the ambition of it alone made it a success.